Good day, everybody. This is Eric Severson with a little guide to investing in TDA. And we start off here with some pictures of what some of us might want our retirement to look like, sitting on a nice cabin by the woods or house on the beach, something like that. Hopefully, we've got a good future ahead of us. So, just a little bit about who I am. I've been a teacher for 14 and a half years. I know a thing or two about investing in TDA, but I'm not an official UFT person or financial advisor, but I'm going to tell you what I know and what I've learned over time about how to invest well. So hopefully people know this already. Anybody who's a working educator, para teacher, anyone in the UFT can invest in TDA. You can withdraw the funds when you're 59 and a half or when you hit retirement if you have the 55-25 thing. And fixed rate fund gets you 7% interest per year guaranteed. And the passport funds, we're going to look into some of those and which ones are good investment. This is one of my favorite books on subject of investing intelligently. And one of the things that Daniel Solon says in the smartest investment book you'll ever read is nobody really knows which way the stock market is going to go. So the best thing you can do is find a low cost index fund and just put into that monthly or yearly and let the wealth build over time. Even the big shots on Wall Street don't really know where it's all going to go. So speaking of low-cost index funds, you can find this in the financial reports on the TRS website that the lowest cost ones are the balanced fund and then the equity index funds, both U.S. and international. Now, I've looked at the returns on all these funds. I would not recommend the balanced fund because the returns on that are even lower than the 7% you get in the fixed rate fund. It's a mixed stock and bond fund, which hasn't performed very well. But these two, if you're interested in the stock market and you have some tolerance for risk, these two index funds you can see are much lower cost. You have a balance of, there's a U.S. one and an international one available. So, some things to keep in mind. The economist and actor Ben Stein once said, "Building wealth is like lifting weights. You don't expect to be Arnold Schwarzenegger overnight. You slowly build up. Start with just whatever you can, and just do it every day or every week until gradually you get there." So, if you're in the fixed fund, the money you put in now is going to double after, right here, 10.3 years. So, in other words, you can expect that if you start if you start teaching and you work for 30 years, you'll have 8 times as much for every dollar you put in at the beginning. And you could do even better with the stock market, but there is some risk about if you're retiring and you're in a down year. So as you get closer to retirement, it's generally advisable to put more and more into the fixed rate, into something that is safer, especially if you think you're going to need the money in your early retirement. So, if you haven't already, I recommend starting as early as you can, putting at least something aside, even if it's only a few percent just of your check. Just it defers your taxes. It's a smart idea in the long run. If you're comfortable with just getting the 7%, go with the fixed fund. But again, the index funds are the way to go if you want a low-cost index fund that allows you to just invest in the market and do what's called dollar cost averaging, where when the market's down, you're continuing to put more and more aside. Okay. So could go on and on about this all day, but a few things to take a look at if you're interested, and I will post this in the comments below the video. So John Oliver did a humorous segment on retirement plans, which gets into some of the same principles I've talked about here, about passive investing in index funds and low-cost funds being the best way to go. Daniel Solon's website has some information about risk tolerance and what might be the smartest plan for you. And if you're interested in reading the financial reports on the Passport Fund yourself, it's right here. So, thank you very much for listening. Happy New Year, everybody, and have a good day.